Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, welcome to another market open stream. What is going on today? Well, it looks like today could be a green day for US markets, but what about Bitcoin and what about crypto? Green day? Well, let's talk about the next stop for Bitcoin. That will shock you. So, let's do it, guys. Let's do it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are starting out day 111.6. See, unfortunately, we were a little bit higher yesterday. We got to 116, and then the crypto market sold off because of more trade disputes, I guess. Okay, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But you can see most things today are red compared to yesterday. But can that change today? Well, it certainly can. And here's why. Well, US market is opening up, and you can see that it's green today, recovering from yesterday. Yesterday was a weird day. And I kind of explained why last night. We started out deep in the red because of trade disputes between US and China. And then we started recovering, and then we went into the red again. Okay, and why is that? Well, sometime like late afternoon, Trump posted that, you know what, China is now not going to buy soybeans from the US. Okay, and then Trump threatens China with the cooking oil embargo. I didn't know that was such a big thing, you know. So like farming stuff, livestock. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes beyond just tech, right? We usually talk about like tech, like AI or AI chips or cars or whatever, right? Robotics. Well, you don't really think about like soybeans or cooking oil, but I guess it's a big thing. And I guess for us in the US, we do export a lot of soybeans and cooking oil. But anyways, it just seems like it's going back and forth. And when this was announced yesterday, it brought markets down in a big way. And then it brought crypto down as well, right? But right now, seems like China may be, preparing a big strategy meeting to kind of talk about how to handle Trump and the US. And I'm sure we're doing the same thing. It seems like both sides kind of need each other. But which side is going to cave first? It's weird because just a few months ago, it seemed like we came to an agreement, right? The US was making all these agreements with all these countries. It seemed like we had something going with China. And we were past this. And now we have more to worry about, and it's affecting markets. And because we don't really have a lot of data right now, this is the thing that Wall Street is focusing on. Let's see how today goes, though. Things are opening up pretty green. We could see a good recovery from yesterday, although things really tanked yesterday. So let's see what happens. What else is there? Well, Powell also spoke yesterday in front of this economic committee in Philadelphia. And, he kind of threw some shade out there, even though he didn't need to. He was saying something about how the economy is running hot. This was before the shutdown happened, so he somehow glanced at the data and said that, we're running hot. We're hotter than expected. So trying to dampen, I guess, the mood for more rate cuts, right? But we have two more guaranteed in a couple weeks. We're going to have one in December. It's almost like he wants to throw a wrench into things. So I don't think anyone liked that. I don't know if that affected markets yesterday. Maybe it did a little bit in conjunction with this trade war thing going, right? But yeah, I don't think anyone wants to hear that. Again, he just has to throw shade or dampen the mood, right? Why can't he just go with the flow and say, yeah, I'm looking forward to those rate cuts. And maybe there's a possibility of accelerate rate cuts or a 50 basis point rate cut. You know, get with the program. That's what everyone is asking for. Why not? Why not? All right, moving on. Let's talk a little bit about Bitcoin. As you can see yesterday, we had BlackRock surprisingly sold about 30 million. That is extremely rare. You don't see that happen very often, but the others picked up. So overall, we had a positive 102 million day. Yesterday was just, again, it was a bad day to start with, but we did pick up and then it turned bad again. But overall, we had a net positive day. Ethereum also. Ethereum, BlackRock did not sell, but the rest of the funds took in 236 million, which is good. But the day before, man, was brutal. The day before, on Monday, there was a 428 million outflow, including 310 from BlackRock. So ETH, I don't know. There's still definitely appetite for ETH, but it does seem like the ETFs are not showing nearly as much strength as, say, a few months ago, right? And nowhere close to Bitcoin strength. So that's for sure. All right, what else? The U.S. government just got another 127,000 Bitcoin on top of the 250,000 that they already own. But I think a lot of people missed this. But the Department of Justice seized 127,000 Bitcoin from this, I don't know, from this criminal organization. Okay, that's a whole lot. That's a whole lot. So there, you know, if this gets added to the Bitcoin reserve, that's a whole lot of Bitcoin, right? So you don't even need to buy any. You can just confiscate it from to the scammers, which is great. But, you know, what would be greater is if they actually did come up with a plan to start loading up on Bitcoin. That's what Senator Loomis is still working on, and several others are advocating that we need to have a plan, like a 5-year plan to acquire 1 million Bitcoin, right? And then wait 20 years and maybe utilize the gains from Bitcoin to pay off the deficit or to do other great things, because in 20 years, that 1 million Bitcoin is going to be worth like 100x higher. And hopefully our deficit doesn't grow by the same amount by 100x in over 20 years, even though it is growing by leaps and bounds right now. It's just part of how our country operates. Outside of that, you know what? The IMF urged countries to recognize digital currency as part of the new financial reality. IMF and World Bank, they're still not fans of countries that's solely embracing Bitcoin, like El Salvador. Always threatens them to like cut off their ties with Bitcoin. But I think now they're starting to realize that, you know, you can't ignore digital currency. You can't ignore this new asset class. It's just way too big to ignore, right? That is the reality, the new norm, right? They need to get with the program. And I think they're starting to, but, you know, who's to say? You know what? Whenever you're in charge, like, you know, the IMF and the World Bank, and I kind of see them the same entity because they're kind of the same. You know what? When they have controls over countries by exclusively lending them money and telling them what to do, you know, that's control. No one wants to lose that control. Same thing with just traditional banks, right? They have people under their control because they lent them money, and now, you know, there's mortgages and loans and car loans and personal debt, right? You're like kind of obligated to the bank, right? People don't like to lose that control, or organizations or banks. And crypto is really a way to free countries or people or organizations from that, So that's why, it takes so long for them to kind of adapt, right? It's because it's going to help them lose more control. But it's going to happen regardless. So they just have to figure it out. They have to figure out how to adopt, basically. They may not have to embrace, but they have to figure out how to adopt. And that's what a lot of banks are doing. They're forced to adopt now because they know that if they don't, they're going to be in trouble in the next 5 to 10 years. Kenya's president officially signs bill to legalize Bitcoin and crypto into law. So another country that is moving forward. You got this gold miner that's raising about $47 million to buy more Bitcoin. Again, every single week you have something, right? Like you have some new public trade company or private company, or in this case, a gold miner that may be going all out with a Bitcoin treasury or forming a new treasury, right? That's awesome. Awesome. All right. What else? Bitcoin to 150,000 after October 10th. So we are after October 10th already. So are we heading to $150,000? Well, all indicators point to yes. Yes, we are. This trader, looking at and comparing our current move to the 2021 high, right around the same time frame, is seeing very, very similar movements. Right before we started going up in 2021, right? We had that COVID crash. We had a huge crash. We hit this certain level, okay? People forgot about that. And then we recovered. And then we went on a historic run. So very similar, very similar. Again, a lot of people have short-term memories. They only remember what's now. They don't remember what has happened before, because mostly all the dips and everything that we had before, we recover very quickly. And then we go and make that next leg up. And then people forget. People forgot about all these horrible dips, the volatility that we had over the years, including even earlier this year, including last year, including 2023, and then including 2021, when we fell 50% mid-cycle, mid-pump, I should say, not even mid-cycle. Every single year we go through something, and most people forget. And most people only look at now, like what has happened today or 2 weeks ago, right? They don't even remember what has happened like 6 months ago. It's not that uncommon to see this kind of manipulation in the market. You see it all the time. But when in doubt and zoom out, you realize, okay, is Bitcoin higher than where it was 6 months ago? Yeah. Was it higher? Is it higher than 12 months ago? Yeah. Is it higher than 2 years ago? Yeah. Is it higher than 2021 cycle? Yeah. So you just have to be patient. If we're sitting right now below our 2021 high and we're at like $60,000, well, then you could say, yeah, there's a problem. Okay, we're not following the cycle anymore. But we're not. We're not. We're well above $100,000, which is a point that a lot of people thought we would never surpass. Not only that, we're holding above 110,000, and we're really just like 10% away from all-time high. So why does it make sense to be so bearish? Jorge says, we haven't gone through it this run. Yes, we have. Yes, we have. Did you forget we fell from $110,000 to $73,000? Again, short-term memory loss? Did people forget that this happened this year where we fell down 30% in April, and then we recover from 73,000. Someone in the chat said, well, we didn't see that this cycle. Are you sure? Are you sure we didn't see that just earlier this year? Keep in mind, what happened a few days ago was the biggest liquidation event, but it certainly wasn't the biggest dump. It wasn't the biggest downtrend, not even for this year. We fell down maybe like 12%. That compares, it doesn't really, to the 30% that we had from January to April. And people also thought Bitcoin was dead, that we'll go back to the 60s, we'll go back to the 40s. No. Afterwards, we recovered our high, and then we made a new high, and we kept going, right? So again, people have short-term memories. You don't remember what's happened even 6 months ago. But you know what? That's okay. If you forget, that's why you could zoom out. When in doubt, zoom out and realize how far we have come really, really quickly. Maybe for some of you guys, not quick. Maybe it's not that quick. But when you invest, you're investing long term. You're investing for years. You're investing for life-changing wealth. Okay? You're not gambling. If you want to make quick money really, really quickly without waiting, go to the casino. That's the quickest way. You can make money instantly. But that's called gambling. And you can lose it all instantly too. That's why there are so many people in the casino every time. Doesn't matter what day, what hour of the day, there's always people there because they want to gamble. They want to make quick money. They don't want to invest for the future. They don't care about that, right? But when you're in Bitcoin and crypto, you do have to care about that because just like gambling, if you risk it too much or in things that you shouldn't be, you're going to lose your money or you're going to lose all of it, right? Just like with the liquidation that happened recently, a lot of people that risk too much with too high of a leverage, they lost it all. Right? But if you're a spot holder, you didn't lose it all. You lost maybe a few percentage, but you know it'll come back. Right? All right. So the 150K, a lot of charts that do show, besides similarities to previous cycles, also gold. Gold has been doing very well, right? Over 4,000, all-time high. And in a lot of cases, Bitcoin follows gold. It follows the same movement, but obviously the growth is much more tremendous. The percentage gain is way more than gold. Gold's been, stuck for decades until recently. Bitcoin has not been stuck for decades. Every year it keeps going up. The annualized return for Bitcoin is like 140% year over year. I mean, just take a second to think about that. What other asset class gives an annualized return of 140% year over year? Almost nothing. Nothing. Right? So this is where people think Bitcoin will go 150,000 next, following previous cycles, following gold, and basically with all the macro stuff that's coming out soon, like rate cuts, right? We just have to get over this dispute. If we didn't have this trade war thing going on, there's really no bad news, right? There's not any more scary things, but it seems like Wall Street and people are always looking for something to scare them, always looking for a reason to sell. And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I guess this is what separates the successful investors from the non. Because there are always people that are looking for excuses to sell, reasons to scare them out of their investment, while the big money, the smart money, the patient people continue to load up while everyone else is scared. That's usually how it is. It's a transfer of wealth from the inpatient to the patient. And we're seeing a whole lot of that now. Even in the live chat right now. Like Dean Clark is saying, I'm out. It's too much for me. Okay. Okay. But don't be complaining when we do get to 150,000 and you come back in here and say, well, I sold at 110. Or I sold my SOL at 200. Or I sold my whatever, AVAX at 20 when it's double that in December. Guaranteed. That's how it works. People that can't handle the pressure or are impatient will sell now and FOMO in at a higher price. That's how it always works. Every cycle. People want to FOMO. They don't want to buy the dip. That is how the psychology works. People rather FOMO at top than buy the bottom. But not everyone. Not everyone. Most of you guys have been watching me for a long time knows that's not the way to do it. All right, last few things. RWA and tokenization. Again, I think most of you guys know this is going to be a big narrative going forward. It's not going to stop. It's going to keep on moving forward. And there's a lot of big asset managers or firms that's going to be pushing all in on RWA. So it's definitely going to be a niche that is going to get bigger as we move forward. All right, so keep that in mind. And then XRP, or just ETF news overall, there's more filings. We're all waiting for, I don't even know why, this is, I guess I do, because SEC, probably everyone at SEC is fired right now, or furloughed, whatever the right term is, not fired. But, we have all these pending ETFs. People have seemed to forgot about them. We're going to get approval for like dozens and dozens of them. We have like a dozen for SOL. We got like a dozen for XRP. And we have a dozen spread across all these others. Okay. They're all going to get approved. I'm pretty sure of it. And we're going to see a whole bunch of new spot ETFs come out in the market in November or December, right? Before the top ends. Now, who's to say the top comes in December? Maybe it comes in January, or maybe it gets extended into June, or maybe the top, there is no top and we just keep on going. But what we do know is if you look at existing spot ETFs like Bitcoin and ETH, institutional interest is high. Billions upon billions of dollars have gone into them, and thus they have pulled in a whole bunch of Bitcoin and ETH. So it's going to be the same thing for XRP, for SOL, for Cardano, Link, Doge even, and all these others that are going to get their own ETF. Again, this is where patience comes in. You know it's coming. You know big things are coming, but your heart is playing tricks on you. This is, when it comes to investing, you gotta use your head. You can't use your heart. Heart is what causes people to panic sell and FOMO. But if you use your brain and you think about it, you think about the facts, the data, right? Then you know that you're on the right course. You should be patient. You shouldn't be scaring yourself, finding some excuse to sell when you know great things are coming in the future. That's just how it is. That's how it is. You got to listen to your head, not your heart in this case. But usually FOMO and others, just like impulses, panic selling, or saying, it's over, it's done, I got to sell everything. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help you. All right, the U.S. market is looking still pretty green, so that's good. We got a decent recovery across everything like AI and crypto and trading, which is good. Bitcoin is still kind of stalled right now. I don't know what it is. I don't know why people are so bearish right now. You know, that's the thing. Too many people are scared right now to HODL and DCA. But that's the right way to win, guys. That's the right way to win. Bitcoin ain't going nowhere. I think you guys know that. Alts, yeah, I'll give you an argument that they've been weaker. But still, just look at where things were 6 months ago, a year ago. Alts were decimated. They're all down 90+%. Now we have some winners now. They're starting to move. But the reason why we keep going down so much is because average retail investors right now, I feel like, are like, I can't handle this. I got to get out. That's why it's very different this cycle versus previous cycles. You still got to have Bitcoin in your portfolio, right? I've always warned about this. 50% of Bitcoin in your portfolio, right, for that stability or growth. And many have more than that, maybe 70%, 80%, 90%. If you don't have that and you're all into alts, which most retail people follow that strategy, just go all in on alts. Because I always meet people all the time that tell me that. It's like I'm, 80% or 90% in alts and maybe a little bit Bitcoin because they don't see any growth potential. Then during these times, they're going to be hurting, and they're going to be hurting a lot. So that's why you got to have at least 50% of your portfolio in Bitcoin. So then it protects from downtrends, but also still gives you that growth. All right. Anyways, as for Clash, unfortunately, we just had some impatient whale that unloaded hugely last night. But we're recovering once again. The community is strong. We're almost at 6,700 holders, a little bit above 6,600 and growing, right? Just like Bitcoin. And just like all the other great crypto, you got to load up when it's down. And I'm telling you this because I'm putting all my efforts into Clash. And I know it's going to be a great project in a couple of months. It's already good, but it's going to be even better. And there are things being worked on. So I know the community is strong and we keep growing. Right? But don't be giving up on it. I do feel like right now, a lot of people are giving up on everything. Not just Clash, but giving up on Bitcoin, giving up on Sol, giving up on XRP, giving up on everything. They just want out. But those people are going to regret it because things will recover. The conditions will get more favorable. And then they're going to probably come back and FOMO at a much higher price. That's not the way to do it. Not the way to do it at all. By the way, I have this up. If you compare, let me remove my camera. If you compare Clash, for example, right, to all these other popular memes on Sol, you'll see a big difference between our holder count and everyone else's holder count. Especially if you look at it by like day. Look at how Clash's holder count continues to go up because the community believes and understands what I'm trying to build. But look at A16Z. This was hot just for like a few months. Look at the holder count. Look at Peanuts holder count. Look at Popcat's holder count, right? Whiffs, Gigas. Only Fartcoin and Turbo is going up, but I feel like that is highly manipulated right there. It was a huge downtrend, and all of a sudden you have all these. Turbo may be natural, but still, look at all the other ones versus what Clash holders looks like. Very, very different. because we have the greatest community and we have something. And I believe we're going to go very, very far. Very far. I'm just telling you guys ahead of time. All right. Let's do some Q&A. Sol's still holding above 200, which is good. Yesterday's downturn didn't bring in nearly as much down as, say, like BNB or others. Today, AMD is still doing well. Man, AMD just never goes down. Broadcom, CEG, I've been trying to hold to buy CEG for a long time. Not a long time, a few days, and it just keeps going up. Energy play. Robinhood is recovering a little bit. Yesterday had a big dump. Nvidia yesterday had a big dump. Coinbase is up, so that's good. Gold and silver up slightly. Retail just need to stop worrying so much, because I think that's what it is right now. And I've made this point. You know, you can't blame some retail because of Binance, because of market makers, because of all the liquidations, right? You know, play with leverage is not for everyone. If you want to be a trader, right, learn how to trade first. Don't gamble. Most people gamble, just like going to a casino, betting red or black, or betting a number on a roulette wheel, or, you know, playing craps and betting on numbers based on what people roll, right? A lot of people are leveraged the same way. They'll throw a 20x and say, well, I think it's going to go up. So if you go trade, right, learn at least the basics. Utilize the tools, all the indicators, the moving averages, right? Learn them. Learn at least the risk mitigation tools like stop losses and the difference between cross and isolated leverage. A lot of people get wrecked by cross. People don't even realize the difference. Cross will take the liquidity from your entire pool across all of your positions. So if one position goes down vastly, it'll pull the liquidity from your others. And not only do you have one being liquidated, you could have all your entire portfolio be liquidated simultaneously. Isolated is different so that it's only the pool that you have, like the one position that you have. So there's a lot of things that you need to know, right? And we have people that teaches you. You just have to listen. Like I've been telling you guys, I have Tyler and a whole team of traders inside Discord. We even host live trading sessions and training courses, all for free inside Discord. And I've been telling you guys that. So if you actually want to really know how to trade, and you want to learn the tools, right? And you want to know how to like read things so that you're not gambling, you're actually trading, then, you know, why would you not join Bootcamp or join Discord and learn about it? And it's all free. That's the thing. No, you don't have to pay like a lot of other guys like make you pay like $100 a month or $500 a month, or like courses that cost you $5,000. This is all free info that we're providing in Discord. What's the symbol for your project on Coinbase? It's not on Coinbase yet. And that's a good thing, Ryza. Okay, it's not on Coinbase yet. But when it does get listed on Coinbase, that's when it's probably going to be $1 billion plus project. Because if you look at all these popular ones that I showed you guys, all right, all these ones, why did they blow up? It's because they got listed in a hot market on Coinbase and Binance and others, all these tier ones. You know, all these were near $1 billion at one point, back in like January and February. And since then, they've been losing their followers. WIF is still different. I mean, obviously, WIF is still huge. Farcoin is still somewhat big, close to $1 billion. But like you got like Popcat, A16Z, Giga, Peanut, you know, Turbo. these guys were close to $1 billion market cap, and some maybe were at billion, and now they have fallen quite a lot because they don't know how to keep their community strong as Clash. They don't have anything. None of these do, except us. Clash actually has real utility because we bring players together in these grand tournaments with huge prizes and giveaways, right? It keeps people excited about something, looking forward to something. And we're so early. We're only like 5 weeks in, 6 weeks in. So we're on several exchanges already, like Phoenix, for example, Mexi, LBank, WeX. We're on several small exchanges. But, you know, I'm talking to Kraken, and after that, Crypto.com, KuCoin, Gate. Gate is also looking at it. And then after that, we'll get on the tier ones. We will. But right now, the easiest way to buy is within the Phantom wallet. You just go straight to the Phantom wallet and swap for it, or go to Jupiter. The Discord, you know, everything I name, right? Like Discord, Bootcamp, Clash, anything, other channels, all the URLs is updated in the description of the video. I know that seems like a wild concept that I would actually list all the links in the description, but I do. All you have to do, if you're mobile, you click on that See More button in the description. Or if you're on desktop, again, you click that See More, and it drops down and shows you every single link for everything I've ever talked about. So if you want to check out Discord, you could join it. You want to check out Clash, you can join Discord and find more information. You want to follow my other channels, you can do that as well. I know it's a wild concept, but every link is in the description of the video. This is for Clash Royale, the game Clash Royale, which I am quite fond of now. It makes me rage like no other, but I am quite fond of it. And it's a good way to bond with my kids because my kids are really addicted to it. And I know a lot of your kids, those of you guys have kids, you may not know, ask them. Almost every kid right now, even high school people, even college people, play Clash Royale. It's a super viral game that came out like 9 years ago, but it has gotten to a new level of success recently. So it's really easy, and I've gotten other communities to join. And I'm working on a few things. I'm going to keep spreading the word. It's not going to go away. So getting in early is definitely advantageous versus getting in late. And I do stream at night. I've been mentioning that in all my videos, and I do rage quite a lot when I'm streaming. It's a mature, it's a MA show at night. It's not a PG-13 show like it is right now. I just realized my camera is quite dark. I gotta adjust it. I think the computer restarted and it kind of like screwed up the setting. Oh wait, no, that's too much. Yeah, something like that. That's good. I think today could be good because the US market is deep green now. So that's always good. Let's see if we can recover from yesterday's losses. Sol is definitely coming back up. 204. We were like at 210 yesterday, so we're not too far off. Man, the two stocks I wanted to buy yesterday, I did not buy, and they're both rallying like crazy. AMD just keeps on going. I've been waiting for AMD to come back down a little bit, back down to earth, and they just won't. What's your opinion on BTQ technology? I have no idea what BTQ is. No idea what it is. Yusuf AD, how do I buy Clash? There's several ways. It's all in the description of this video. Again, it's all laid out in the video description. You could go on Phantom Wallet and swap Sol for it. There's a swap feature. You could also connect your wallet to Jupiter Dex and swap Sol for Clash. Or if you must, you could go on one of the sexes like Femix or MEXC or LBank and you can get it. Surprisingly, MEXC actually has been one of the bigger buyers because they need the liquidity. And by the way, all these exchanges, I didn't provide one single liquidity to them. No marketing, no listing costs. There are a lot that's still asking for it, but I say no. Like I just talked to Bitmart yesterday and they wanted 30K to list. I'm like, no. Blowfin was going to list, but they need a market maker, which I don't have. And then BTC Vs Gold list. I know that they're working on it. But if you look at like the top holder changes, I was looking at this. Oh, they don't have it. It showed that MEXC is actually one of the buyers here. What happened to it? Right there. You see that? I know it's hard, but right here, the 43 wallet is MEXC. And they've been adding slowly to their position because they actually need it. They need the liquidity to trade on their exchange. LBank also has their own liquidity, but eventually I'll have to get a market maker. And eventually, there's a cost to that, but then it balances liquidity out. It stabilizes things more. But, I think we're just too early for that. We are such a young project, and I know some people get frustrated as well, but the holders continue to go up, and that's the most important thing. Like right now, market conditions are just kind of scary. People are just scared about investing in anything right now. I get that, but this is a project I'm backing. This is a project I'm putting all my effort into. I don't really talk to anyone about anything other than Clash right now, and I'm just going to push as much as I can and see where we could take it by the end of this run. And knowing what the other memes have done during favorable conditions, I really think Clash could be $1 billion by the end of this run. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how good I am at it. It's not easy. There's not many people that could tell you that they have created a community coin or any project that have gotten to where we are now. And we were much higher. We got to 83 million at one point. But there's not a lot of people that'll tell you because they haven't done it. They can only suggest things. But to maintain a community, that's tough. That's tough. Chrysler used to have this commercial about the Chrysler 300. And it's a good commercial because it gives you like a life fact. Even though it has nothing to do with the car, they were trying to relate it to the car. And to paraphrase, it was saying something like, on your way up, you go talk to a lot of people that will tell you you're doing things the wrong way. All right, they go pick on, oh, you shouldn't have to do this, you shouldn't do that, right? But the reality is, most, if not all of them, have not been in your position. People just generally like to pick on things or nitpick on things, or people just don't want to see you succeed. So if you're building or you're doing something, right, just do it your own way. Yes, it's fine to listen, but don't let those naysayers pull you down, because they really aren't in your position. They don't know how to do what you're doing, and you just got to keep pushing forward, right? That's kind of the gist of the commercial. That's what they're saying. And you know, because you are your own man, you go buy Chrysler 300C, which I don't know how successful that is. But, you know, that if you think about it, it's honestly true. On your way up, you're going to have a lot of people that have never been as successful as you will tell you you're doing the wrong things and tell you that you're effing it up, even though they never had that kind of success. Philly Brian says, Jordan rugged on cocking you. How did I rug on it? I actually still have mine. So you tell me how I rugged on that. And it's not even my project. I still talk to the guys. I talk to Wojak and Gribbly, who are the, you know, the founders. I try to get them involved into Clash too. You know, other communities have joined and participated in tournaments. And I asked them, hey, you guys want to join? They seem to be pretty hands off these days. They're working on like their sports book and stuff like that. But yeah, you know, I'm open. I'm open to all these projects, to working with us. They don't have to promote us, but you know, if they're going to join the tournament, the more players, the more visibility that we have, the better, right? That's all I'm asking for. Philly, why do I need to continue to talk about it? I gave them the most attention anyone gave attention to them. I created like videos based on them. Because I liked it. I thought it was funny. I did that with Snack too. But there's a lot of projects I don't talk about anymore. That doesn't mean that I rugged them. And just because you don't enjoy your bag because they have come down, that's not my fault. And I still have my bag, like I said. It's not like I sold my cock bag. In the bull market, in altcoin season, things could come back in a big way. So generally speaking, any meme that I have, I'll just keep. And then I'll just see what it does. Even if it goes to zero, I keep it. I've been given a lot of memes. I bought some, and I just keep it. If it goes to zero, it goes to zero. I'm not in a panic to sell it, because if it comes back in a bull run, then great. If it goes up and make more money, great. Tim, what's going to happen to the 2 million altcoin project cycles this cycle? Not a whole lot to all 2 million. There will be outliers, the winners, and they will continue to do well. I think most will move, obviously, but because of how many there are, I don't think everything's going to go up. Not like previous cycles. So I think, you know, you got to pick the winners. You got to pick the ones with the greatest communities. That's really what it comes down to. It doesn't really come down to technology at all. It's the greatest communities. Okay. And then you pick the utility after that. Because there are a lot of projects with the greatest utility on the planet. They'll say they're the fastest chain, they can handle the most transaction, the finality time is the lowest, but without a community, they go nowhere. It's always about the community in crypto. It's number one thing. In Wall Street, you look at PE ratio, you look at profits and losses. Most projects, 99.999% in crypto, don't make a profit, right? It's mostly speculation. But the ones with the greatest communities win. They survive crypto winter because the community doesn't dump everything, and the community only grows and gets stronger in altcoin seasons, right? That's how it works in crypto. Who will win one-on-one, me versus Jinxie? I don't know. I've seen a lot of clips of him where he's not very good and he rages crazily, but he's at a higher trophy count and season count than me, so he must be good. He's just not really good against the pros, but I would say he's better than me. I mean, he's been playing for years. I would love to get him involved someday in Clash. I don't know if I'll ever be able to get his attention, but I would love to do that. Can you discuss CZ BNB halt lending to exchanges? BNB has all the liquidity. Just know that. They have the most for every coin there is. Any coin that's traded anywhere, they have the most in their exchange. So the smaller exchanges that need liquidity, need to borrow, will go to them, right? So a lot of liquidity that belongs to exchange actually belongs to Binance. And they probably pay some sort of fee for borrowing, right? So if Binance all of a sudden tells all the exchanges, you can't get access to your borrow funds, then these exchanges actually don't have the liquidity they need, especially for leverage. Leverage is all futures-based trading. They don't actually need to have the underlying liquidity. It's all borrowed funds from Binance. And all of a sudden, Binance is like, no, you can't have access to it. Then these exchanges are on the hook to provide their own liquidity. And a lot of times they don't have it. So that's when, a lot of them will go under during a big catastrophic event. Exchanges have gotten smarter over the years. They have more safeguards in place, sort of. But what happened, last week, I'm sure there are some exchanges that are still struggling, that are still in trouble because of it. Badger said, I thought you were against market makers, same as us, but now what? Now what? I think you're misunderstanding. Market makers, not all, are bad. When I say market makers are manipulating the market, I just mean like one. The biggest there is, Binance. But all these projects normally have market makers. They have the market makers balance the liquidity across different exchanges. All of them have it. It's actually required if you want to be listed on a big exchange. But what I'm talking about is like Binance and maybe Bybit or whatever, these huge guys that have all the liquidity, they do something else. Yeah, Badger, I don't know what you're screaming about or if you're trying to start FUD. So maybe calm down. Do I have to enter my SOL address every day to be in the Clash giveaway? No. That's a good question, but no. I've answered this many, many, many times. So now I have a new page called GeorgePlaysClashRoyale.com, and I'm going to get more information. But the giveaway page is now here. Everything from the old spreadsheet has been moved over. You need to only enter it once. As long as that wallet contains the necessary Clash to be eligible, you're good. That's the whole point. So people could get selected multiple times, right? Because I'm doing giveaways every single day. And this is to the loyal community that's been staying strong from day one. But you could join it. You could join the community, and I've been giving SOL away every single day. It's in the description of this video. Again, if you want to learn or find anything, it's in the description of the video, including this new page. And all you have to do is put your SOL wallet address. You don't connect it. I've said this. There's a lot of scam sites that's impersonating me, impersonating Clash, impersonating other projects, including wallets and stuff. When you go to a site that you don't know and it's asking you to connect your wallet, do not do it. Do not connect your wallet to any site that you're not 100% certain, like a DEX, right? That may be asking to connect your wallet because you have to trade. Otherwise, there's no other site that requires your connection, like wallet connection. Because if you go to a bad site and then you do that wallet connect, say goodbye to your crypto. It will be gone. That's why my giveaway site does not ask you to do that. It just asks you for a public address. I can't do anything with it other than see if you have the required amount in your wallet. That's it. Kelly, I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Yeah, by the way, I did come out with a new tournament link. New tournament form, I should say. So the next tournament is obviously a couple days from now. Every tournament has been absolutely fantastic in terms of the players and the giveaways and spectators and prizes and everything, right? I've added a whole bunch of rules. That's going to make it more appealing for everyone. Because I realize a lot of people are playing, but then they feel like they're not good. They're casual players. They're beginners. There's no way that a new player can win against a seasoned pro or someone that's been playing a long time. So not only are the prizes still there, which is substantial, but now just average players that are playing in a tournament can win free SOL, right? So the first to 10 places wins these prizes, 3, 2, 1, and 0.5 each. But if they're actually holding a good amount of Clash, proving that they're a really loyal Clasher, their prize is doubled, which is substantial. But outside of the top 10, 5 random players will win 0.3 SOL just for participating in the tournament, just by playing a game, having some fun. And we happen to have a crazy amount of players, over 400 players. Then I'll double that to 10 randomly selected players will get 0.3 SOL each, which is crazy amount, right? Just for playing this game. On top of that, we still have giveaways for just spectators, which 20 random spectators, 1.2 SOL each. And I've included all these social bonuses, like referral bonuses. People that refer into Discord and grow our community can be rewarded. Same thing with tournament clips. People that clip these tournaments can be rewarded. Pre-hype clips can be rewarded. Basically, I'm making it so that everyone could be rewarded just for helping grow the community. And no one else is doing this. No other project, no other meme that you can name is doing any of this. Other than they'll say like, oh, do this on X. The last person to say hi or the most viral clip will win some whatever meme token, right? No, I'm giving out SOL. I'm not even giving out Clash. I don't want people to sell it. I'm giving out SOL. And I'm giving a lot of it away every single week to grow the community. So the tournament form is in the description. This will be eventually be moved to the new website. It's not 100% done, but it will be soon. And everything will be on the website. But last week we had about 255 people join, which is still a really good turnout. The week before we had 355, right? But I think we're going to keep growing, and that's the plan. Oh man, I've been talking for a long time. This morning went by really fast. 9:31 already. Oh, that's an hour. That's an hour. Freaking is. Man, my camera quality is so different between the two. One is laggy and one's not. I need to fix that. Anyways, speaking of giveaways, we could do a couple now with my fancy new wheel. I added a bonus, the multiplier tiers back. And some more entries were removed that were invalid. Okay. We'll see how this is. I'm going to adjust this multiplier tier. So if you're holding more than a minimum amount, you'll get rewarded. Again, this is every day. So there's over 2,000 people in here. There should actually be more considering our holder count is much higher. So if you haven't entered your wallet, you should. And people used to complain, oh, your form requires Google sign or whatever. Okay, now there's none. It's just on a website. That's it. All right, I'll select 3 to win 0.3. And we'll see if this new fancy multiplier thing pops up. Nope. Okay, first winner has 3,000. Congrats. Second one has 21,000. So you see the multiplier kicks in at 1.5. So this person wins 0.45 SOL. Congrats. Let's spin it one more time. This person also 78,000 Clash. He almost missed the 2x. He wins 0.45. It's just that simple. All right, so congrats to these holders. You're going to be getting some souls soon. And anyone else that wants to participate and get involved with Clash, make sure you check out all the links and join the Discord in the description. All right? Outside of that, we'll see how Bitcoin does today. The U.S. market is in green. Are we going to see that lift off today, or at least a recovery today? Let's see. Okay? Be patient. Continue to hold on DCA. That is what you do. That's what the smart money is doing. That's what the big money is doing. Don't be a panic seller, because panic selling never leads to anything good. Unless you're about to get liquidated and you need a panic sell. But that's the only situation where it's good. All right? Have a good one, guys. Take care. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Have a good one.